Poisonous. Come on, bro. Y'all quit with the whiplash. That's a movie. For real. Quit with the whiplash. Like, that's not even real. I've yet to see a drummer who hasn't heard somebody say, play whiplash. Come on, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like, and I don't want people, I'm like, I swear, I'm not being mean or anything, but it's just like, it's like, come on, man. Whiplash is like, it's not real. It's a movie. It's not real. You know, it's always, hey, have you ever seen Whiplash? No. You should see it. It's a non-drummer trying to describe what it's like to go to school for drums. It's not real. It's like a it's like a person who's single trying to tell you how marriage is. Trying to tell a married person, like, well, this is how marriage is. No, it's not. You know? These are heavy sticks. Thank you. This is what I do to get my, really I play, of course, flams and flam taps and drags and whatever. But the main thing I really use is just singles, doubles, and paradiddles. And I really do singles, of course doubles, but when I play doubles I start with a single. And paradiddles, I really do like inverted paradiddles. Got a pimple in my forehead. When I say inverted paradiddles, the reason why I do inverted paradiddles is because this is regular paradiddles. Well, I'll just demonstrate it. Inverted paradiddles sound like accented singles. You know, so they sound the same. But what I also do is when I start my singles, I go. So it keeps a uniformity with everything you play, you know. And as far as the molar technique, there's really two kinds of molar. Like there's a then you got the double molar, which is, you know, molar's 3. The double molar, not too many people know about it, or if they do, they don't realize that, oh, it's the same as a molar, it's just 2-stroke instead of 3-stroke. It used to be called the wood roll, which is kind of suspect. But it was named after a guy named Kenwood Denard. If you know who DeAnthony Parks, he plays drums and he uses samples. Well, Kenwood Denard was doing that back in like the 70s. Except he would have, you know, a piano or like, you know, like a Moog or something like that, and he'd be playing drums. You know, he'd be singing, playing keys, and playing drums at the same time, you know. But he came up with what's called, he was known as using what's called the wood roll, which I kind of prefer, because it's the wood roll is like this. Push pull is like this. Same thing. It's the same thing. So, and always practice with some heavy sticks. You know, always practice with heavy sticks. New Orleans? Man, where you from, bro? What part? Yeah, I do. Discord. I have a Discord account. I need to, I use it to follow other people, but I need to, Uptown? Yo. Really? Really? Man. My wife probably heard of y'all. My wife is from the East. She's, she lived on Yardley Road. This is when Yardley was nice. Like, the East is kind of, you know, it's kind of crazy now. You know, she lived there when it was really, really nice. During, like, the 80s. From, like, the late 70s, the 80s. And, like, really, it got nasty after Katrina. It got really, really bad after Katrina. But, yeah, my wife, she's from, I've been in New Orleans, like, so many times. Like, just before I met my wife. I've been there so many times. Just, our family would take vacations there. You know what I mean? But, I got in-laws uptown. I got in-laws in Crowley. I got in-laws in Metairie. I got in-laws, and of course, in Baton Rouge. I got in-laws in Slidell. I got in-laws uptown. All over New Orleans. I want to move there, but it's too dangerous. You know, my wife was like, I'm not going. It's dangerous. You know? Yeah, it's rough. It's rough now. Really? Really? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. That's your granddad? Oh, snap. Yeah. It's New Orleans, man. It ain't what it used to be, man. I miss the way it used to be now. It's dangerous now. You know. I think the last time it wasn't the last time. One of the last times we were there, they had some chick. I want to say she was going to Tulane. It was a college girl going to Tulane. And they had it on surveillance camera. She got ran down on and shot up and robbed. And then they had another dude. My wife was telling me, she showed me the video. It was like broad daylight. Dudes were staying like broad daylight in your like up your walkway, standing right there. While jokers are breaking in your house or breaking in your car. And in the moment you come out, blah, they're gonna blast you. It's crazy, you know. Thank you, man. Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, I wanted to marry a woman from New Orleans because they're Southern, but they got their own flavor to Southern. You know, they have their own brand of Southern charm. No. You know, so, and I think part of that too is like, man, me and my wife are supposed to be together, straight up. You know, when they say, "Oh, there's no such thing as soulmates," yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's totally a such thing as soulmates. You know, that doesn't mean we agree on every single thing. It means you look at your life and you look at that person's life and you realize the way things worked out. You were supposed to meet, you were supposed to be married, like everything, man. It's wild. Really? Um, um, It'll happen, man. I met my wife when I was 35. We got married when I was 39. And I had my first kid at 41. And my boy Frank Patterson, he met his wife, I think he was like 53, 52 or 53. And they're married still. They're happily married. You know, she was like 40 something and Frank's like the same age as me. So he was like 50, I'm 59. So they've been married for a few years and he's 53, you know. Yeah, I feel you. Java. Okay. West Java, Indonesia. What's up? Hmm? No, that's all it is. It's pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just alternating. Or I like that whenever I do something, I try to alternate. You know, I try to just alternate. That's, you know what I mean. Um, or this is a good exercise. know, just alternate. I got a single, like, yeah, I got a single pedal here, so. Philippines. Huh? All right, bro. You gotta. I don't get it. I don't know if that's like some attempt at a dirty joke or whatever. Uh, I usually do rhythm with one hand. That's hard. These sticks are. That's another thing too. Practice with You got me on that one. I'll get some sticks, bro. Get some sticks. New Orleans shuffle. I gotta look that up. I never heard of it. But you know what though? Dudes now are like playing with their fingers and sticks. Pause. That sounds kind of weird, but like you see a lot of guys are going, you know what I mean? Doing like, I haven't gotten it. I'll get it. But there's dudes doing that now. They're playing with sticks and they're using their hands. You know what I mean? You know, all that's. I've seen guys do it, and it's really getting popular now. But I want to learn how to. I want to learn how to keep this thing from spinning. That's what I want to do. Kicking his cymbal? Oh, I've never seen that. Really? Yeah, I could definitely see that. Um, no, definitely Purdy Shuffle. But I've seen like Afro-Cuban and Brazilian musicians do the, you know, I've seen guys on like guys playing timbales. You know what I mean? I've seen guys. That's that's kind of like a old kind of tradition from back in the day. You know. Um. Um. Okay. Um. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll check my email. Definitely. Um. But yeah. Tag. I was just about to say something, and I can't remember. Ooh, I was just about to say something. Oh, a lot of speed. Like I always say this. It's repetition.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is how you develop speed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1.
Not all that.
3,
Just
4, 5.
literally.
6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3,
Sounds boring.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It sounds boring.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It seems
1,
oh Lord, these commercials. I don't want to see Boys the Man. I don't want to hear Let It Snow. I moved to Georgia because I didn't want to be in snow. Please.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3,
But
4,
speed
5,
comes from repetition.
6, 7.
I learned it from I was I was trying to develop speed. So I thought, there we go. I thought I had to be like all that. And all that playing stiff, I developed really, really bad carpal tunnel. Really bad carpal tunnel. And I at the time I was working for a property management company. And oh man, foolish. I developed really bad carpal tunnel. And not only that, but the connective tissue in my elbow was calcifying. So I had to literally stop and go through 5 weeks of intense physical therapy. And the place I went to, because of the company I worked for, it was a really good company. But what I did was the last part of rehab, it was a guy. He was like a whatever degree black belt in kung fu, and he actually looked at. He was like, "Well, how'd you get all this injury? Like, what were you doing?" And I was like, "I'm a drummer." And he said, "Well, next time you come in, bring in a pair of sticks and a practice pad." And he literally watched me just warm up, whatever. And he examined how I actually played, and he was like, "You're too stiff. That's why, like, you have carpal tunnel. You're always doing. Ooh, it even hurts to do it now. You're always doing this. You know." He was like, "Why don't you do this? Why can't?" At a time when the WFD League, World's Fastest Drummer League, had just started and was just popping off. And I would look at those guys and I'm like, man, how are they getting that fast? And they were using finger technique. And I was like, so instead of doing this, I started doing this. This is the fulcrum. Your thumb and your pointer finger or index finger or whatever it is, pointer finger. This creates the movement. This part of your finger creates the movement. So it's literally using your fingers instead of this. But in order for it to really work, you have to keep a loose grip. Which, if you keep a loose grip naturally, you're going to, have instances where you drop sticks and what have you. But, eventually you just get used to it. You know what I mean? You get used to having a loose grip, and you adjust accordingly. But in developing finger technique, I could play longer. I could play with more intensity. I can go quiet, to loud, so I have more dynamic. I had a wider dynamic range. And it was just, I was just less injury prone. It completely changed. I from that time, like, ever since I developed finger technique, I've never played any better. Like, I've never played any better. Like, that's the only way I can put it. Not only that, but it wasn't until later. And all this was when YouTube first came out. YouTube came out, in 04. The year I got married, in 04. I started a YouTube channel in 07. And when I was on YouTube, you used to be able to DM people. You could direct message them. So I remember, like, there'd be guys like Davnis Prieto or whoever, all these guys who were well-known drummers or gospel drummers, whatever, who they would start these YouTube channels. And I remember I read an article about Davnis Prieto in Modern Drummer, and I went on YouTube and I found out, oh, he's got a YouTube channel. So I DM'd him and I just asked him advice on how to, develop creativity and stuff like that. Where does he hear his music? And he basically was like, I hear it in how the wind blows through the trees, and if I'm on a train, hearing the tracks, the wheels on the tracks, or if I'm driving in a car, you know, when you might be driving over a bridge and you hear the separations, the sections. It's like it has a weird rhythm. You know, I was like, okay. You can pull music and you can pull rhythms from anywhere around you. So there was another guy. His name is Kevin Hayden, and he went by the Drum Machine. The Drummer Sheen. And I DM'd him, and this dude was so extra fluid and fast, and everything was effortless. I was like, man, how? And I asked him, how'd you get so fluid and so fast and effortless? Yeah, it's all yeah. It's all in a touch. But I asked him, I DM'd him. I was like, yo, how do you do it? And he was like, play to a metronome, as softly as possible. You know, and don't play too fast. Don't try to play fast. Just play as softly as possible. You know, and I was like, so I took that approach along with the finger technique that I'd seen guys in the world's fastest drummer league were using. I took both of those approaches, and I just applied them, and it revolutionized my playing. Revolutionized it. Because, and I'm going to tell you something too. I learned this after I developed my finger technique. You can't play loud until you learn how to play soft. You can't. There's something about, well, first of all, when you're using finger technique, it just develops your hands. And I'm not one of those firm handshake guys. I'm a drummer. My hands are sensitive. Don't try to break my hands. If that, I mean, just give me some dap. Like, I don't, you know, or an elbow or something. Don't crush my hands. That stuff, I'm not impressed. Stop trying to prove your manhood by crushing my hands. Like, come on, bro. And like I said, my hands are sensitive. I'm a drummer. My hands are sensitive. But the irony is that once you develop finger technique, your hands become really, really strong. You can crush people's hands. Like your grip strength, because you're developing your hands, the muscles in your hands, and you know what I mean. You're developing. You know, so, but I'm not like, hey, firm handshake. I'm still not with that. Now, also, if you notice, my hands are like, sometimes they go here, sometimes they slide down here. Once you start playing with your fingers, you can kind of create your own fulcrum. Doesn't even really matter. You know, you can go there, you can go there, you can go there. You can create your own fulcrum. I learned that. I thought I was doing something wrong until I saw, like, a lot of jazz guys, they'll play like this. They give you the 3-finger technique. You know, so it's really freeing. That whole finger technique thing, it's really freeing. Okay. Another way too is play on some pillows. Like for instance, this ain't a pillow, but it's a dead surface. This'll force you to develop your fingers. That another way to develop finger technique and speed is well, the thing about playing on a soft surface, doubles on a soft surface, is it develops your hand technique and your it develops hand technique. Yeah, it just develops hand technique. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Paradiddle? Oh, it's just paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. I do inverted paradiddles. Because they sound like accented singles. And that's also why I start my singles off, I start my doubles off with a single. They don't sound exactly alike, but they sound pretty similar. And I do that to kind of create uniformity, number one. Whenever I play stuff, I want everything to kind of sound uniform. And also, it tricks people. They don't know if you're doing a paradiddle or accented singles or, they hear an accent, they see you doing doubles, but they're like, it sounds like accented singles. Or they see you doing paradiddles and they're like, it sounds like accented singles. Yeah, it does, because inverted paradiddles sound like accented singles. So it kind of fools people. Yeah, the Questlove sticks. I actually have a Questlove kit right here. They stopped making them. I don't know why. Because they're really good kits. The Ludwig, Amir, Questlove kits, they're really good kits, man. Order them, bro. Order them. For what's that? For accented singles versus inverted paradiddles and all that stuff. And you know what I mean? And starting with a single. Yeah. They fool people. They don't know what you're doing. They're like, okay, what is he doing? Like, it looks like he's doing paradiddles, but they sound like this. But duh, it's inverted paradiddles. So you want them all to sound the same. Plus, you want people, it's kind of like a good song. It's like, it's like a good song. If the lyrics are really, really good, especially if it's a rap song. A good rapper will have you listening to it over and over because you're dissecting what he's saying, and you're looking for the double entendres and all that stuff. Well, music is the same thing. You want people to kind of, okay, what is he doing? Okay, and especially like I come from the era where you had to, okay, put the needle back. Okay, what's he doing? Okay, put the needle back again. Okay, what's he doing? Okay, put the needle back. What's he doing? And then you really didn't know what he was, what the drummer was doing until you saw them live. And even if you saw them live, they're covered up with a drum set. You had to be standing behind the drum set and be like, okay, what is he doing? Like, how is he doing that? So it kind of mystifies things. It kind of hides things. You want to, whenever anything involving music, you want to give people, you don't want to make mindless ear candy, mindless musical, just like blah blah blah, because that's what it is. It's just blah blah blah, a bop, a vibe. You want to give people something to think about. You know what I mean? That's what draws people. Where's my watch? Right here. That's what keeps people coming back for more. That's why I'll say this. That's why genres like country don't really go out of style, because they have a song. Unfortunately, rock and roll has gotten so corporatized, and it's about the next hit. And hip hop, it's no different. It's corporatized, and it's about the next hit. Tattoo faced, crazy color hair, dreads, and wild clothes. Whereas, I kind of, and I don't want to sound like the old dude in the room, but it's the truth. I come from an era where you had to actually be telling a story. You actually had to have lyrics. You know what I mean? You had to know what a double or a triple entendre was, or, you know what I mean? Like, you had to, like, dudes growing up would study rhyming dictionaries or thesauruses, you know what I mean, just to get their vocabulary up, because they wanted to sound completely different and be able to, like, sound interesting. You know what I mean? So, like, and I'll say this, just take it a little further. If this whole Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, that's why Kendrick Lamar, every album he came out with went platinum. He's got 6 classics. He's got 2 classic mixtapes and 4 classic albums. The 5th one arguably is a classic. This 6th one, I don't think he necessarily was looking for a classic so much as he was just representing California. But there's a reason why, all that being said, there's a reason why Kendrick Lamar is, is at the place he is now, even though he's from another generation. Because he's cut from the cloth of give people what they want, give them something to walk away with. Whereas Drake is just about the bop. He's gonna give you a nice bop. He knows how to write a good song, but there's no value. It's like candy. It's like, it tastes good and everything. It's sweet and it's appealing and all of that. It's got colorful. It's got nice colors, but there's no nutritional value in it. You know what I mean? So that's life in general. Yeah. Oh yeah. 3 Stacks. He's another one. Yeah. 3 Stacks. How long have I been playing? I'm 59. About 52 years. 53, 52 or 53 years. About 53 years. So yeah, I've been playing for a while, a long while. I came up in an era, I came up in an era where dudes just stopped playing, because like drum machines and everything had taken over. And I learned how to just do production and engineering and stuff like that because I just wasn't going to walk away from music. And I still played drums, and I still played guitar, and I still played piano, and I still played bass, you know what I mean? So I just, I just stayed in music, and a lot of dudes just stopped. A lot of my drum bros just stopped playing drums, you know what I mean? And it's, if you really want it, man, you gotta keep moving, keep learning, learn another skill. But in the meantime, stick to what you know, you know. But yeah, even with this whole AI thing, I'm not worried about it. What's gonna happen with AI is there's gonna be a split. There's gonna be AI music, and there's going to be music made by humans for humans. The AI music is gonna be made for elevators, hence elevator music, elevators, doctor's offices, the subway, like public transportation, or you go to court, you hear it over a loudspeaker. That's what it's going to be relegated to. Whereas music made by humans is going to always kind of last because the people who consume music are humans. And we not only want to hear the music, we want to see you perform it live. You know what I mean? We want to see like for instance, the appeal of Van Halen was people watching Eddie Van Halen play exactly what he was doing on record live. Like, okay, all that hearing through my headphones, I want to see this dude play it live. So you go and pay money to watch this dude play it live. And it's different from seeing it on TV versus you're right there and he's jumping around and David Lee Roth is screaming and the sweat's flying off his hair and landing. You're like, ugh, nasty. But Eddie goes into a solo and you're like, wait, what? And you're watching him play it live. You're not watching on a video. You're not watching on some live simulcast. You're you're live with this guy, even if it's like 100 yards away, whatever. You're watching him play it live. That's the appeal of it. It's, put it this way. When Dave Chappelle left Comedy Central and the Chappelle Show, what he did was, it didn't stop his love for comedy. He would literally get a karaoke machine and stand out there and just start telling jokes. He would set up in a park, in this random park, and start telling jokes. And crowds would gather. People want to see a show. It ain't enough for you to hear all this stuff. You know what I mean? They want to see a show. They want to see another human. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Hmm? Well, that's not, I mean, I understand it's your dad and that's you, but that's not just your dad and you. That's humans, bro. Humans want to see humans. They want to interact with humans. Even if it's just for a live show, you know what I mean? Humans want to interact with other humans, you know what I mean? So, and AI and a hologram. AI and a hologram ain't gonna do it. Mm-hmm. He loves you too, bro. Another thing too is play with some heavy sticks. These look like regular, I don't know what they're supposed to be. They're Vic Firth. American classic, whatever's. 36 Mafia Stomp. Oh, that's my wife texting me. But they're actually like 60 grams, which marching band sticks, the average marching band stick is like 50, between 58 and 60 grams. Although these aren't marching band sticks, you can go to Guitar Center and get a whole, case of sticks for like $30. That's like 10 pairs of sticks, but they're all different weights and what have you. And I usually get a case. I got a little scale somewhere around here. It's usually up there. And a little bitty scale. There it is. Got a little scale. I stick them on there and just weigh them out, and then I get a black Sharpie, mark on the bottom their weight. Put that down there. And the heaviest ones I use for just like pad work. The ones that the average drumstick is about 50 grams. Between 48 and 50 grams. So Vic Firth, they don't really, Yeah, I mean, if 60 grams are like marching band weight, they're not going to give you a stick that's the size of a regular stick, but it's like extra heavy. So, but yeah, I try to do that. So I try to use heavy sticks, to give me a workout. What did I say? 2Bs. Yeah, exactly. 2Bs or Core Masters. Yeah, they're like 60 grams. Not really, bro. I mean, bro, you don't gotta spam it in the comments, man. You don't gotta yell in the comments. I mean, like, you're not gonna be able to hear anything. That's like a lot of ooh, that's shredding. Like a lot of reggae songs. Yeah. Ooh, it's dry rotting. Oops. War. Yeah, I know who Tool is. You know, I know how to play, a bunch of stuff. By the time I got the Tool, I was off into like jazz fusion and stuff like that. Um, but bro, I'm 59, man. I'll be 60 in a few months. I came up listening to Bill Ward, Alan White, Bill Bruford from Yes, Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Mitch Mitchell, John Bonham, and then later on, like Stuart Copeland, you know, in addition to like Billy Cobham, Tony Williams. Those are all jazz guys. I came up on that stuff. Then later on, I got really into punk. And then, like, I cut my teeth on it, like Neil Peart, all this. I learned every Neil Peart, every Rush song. When John Rutsey left and Neil joined, they came out with that first album, Fly By Night. Oh, well, Fly By Night. They had that Fly By Night away from here, change my life again, all the way up to Chutes and Ladders. And I came up in a time where you had vinyl. And the live mix engineers would make board tapes. And they would get those board tapes pressed up into vinyl. And you go to mom and pop stores and you could buy the actual bootlegs. They were bootleg vinyls. So I remember hearing, like, I heard the Exit Stage Left solo before it was the Exit Stage Left solo. It's pieces of Didax and Narpets, Rush's third album, but it was a song. The third album was Caress of Steel. Neil actually auditioned for the band with what would eventually become the Exit Stage Left live drum solo. That's how he auditioned for Rush. And then you heard bits of it in a song off of their album Caress of Steel. It was a little drum break called Didax and Narpets. And then later on, they did a tour, and he kind of did parts of that. He expanded that, and I remember they put a flanger on his snare, and you know what I mean. So I learned all that stuff, and then later on, I think it was A Farewell to Kings, and then it was All the World's a Stage, their first live show, their first live album. Then it was 2112. Then it was Hemispheres. Then it was Permanent Waves. Then it was Moving Pictures. Then it was Exit Stage Left. Then it was Signals. Like, I learned all of their albums. Like, all of their albums. So yeah, 21, yeah, like I learned all that stuff, so it's yeah, man, that's I've learned like all, and I'll say this, there's a guy, what's up? No. Oh, wait, what package? Okay. I think that's Kali's present. But I'll be honest, at the risk of kind of like offending people, I got into jazz because rock just stopped. It stopped challenging me. Um, it's the same reason why I met this guy named this bass player, um, named Pat Vining. This dude is, if you've ever gone to my shorts or whatever, you know, or seen my videos or whatever, it's the guy with the long blonde hair who plays. He's either got a carved-in 4-string that has cello strings, or he plays a Padula 5-string. And you know, this dude's a freak of nature. And I remember him talking, and he said, man, like, I want to say there was like 4 brothers. His father played guitar, all 4 of his brothers played guitar, and he was the house bassist. So he learned all these rock tunes, and then he got to a point where he learned everything Billy Sheehan could possibly play. He learned everything Flea could possibly play. And if you've seen this guy, if you've seen my videos with that guy in it, you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah. So he just started playing jazz because it was like, you know, where else is he in his mind, he was like 17 at the time. He's telling me, he was like, yeah, I was like 17 at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't possibly be the best rock bassist in the world. There's got to be something else. So that's when he started going to jazz. And I feel him on that. Because I kind of did the same thing. I had to kind of let some things go in order to grow in a different direction. So, you know, so like I say, I go back to when Tool came out. I kind of like, you know, I kind of was like, you know, I love rock, but at the time, you know, I had to kind of walk away from it. And there's another thing. I learned this as I got older and I started meeting really, really, really good drummers. I mean, like ridiculously good drummers that you'd never know. They weren't famous. They weren't anything. But I'm like, this guy's as good as anybody else. Like, why isn't he known? The difference between the guys you see, like Danny Carey or Stuart Copeland or whoever, Mike Mangini, you know, the difference between them and the average unknown guy that's a monster on their instrument is they're known, whereas the unknown guy is unknown. Extentacion, you know, they're unknown, you know, and like I've just learned just from that, I don't hold, just because you're famous, I don't hold those people up to be the best in the world. We just haven't heard. There's a lot of people we've never heard before. You know what I mean? So as good as Danny Carey is, there's an unknown Danny Carey that will poop on Danny Carey. Like, you just don't know. Like, I've met dudes that retired from pursuing music, and their feet were faster than most guys' hands. Their feet were like, they're like, and do the same thing with their hands. And they played ambidextrously. You know, they played like this, or they played like that, or they played like that, or they played like that. Like, or they had ambidextrous kits. You know what I mean? I know a couple guys like that. And the difference between Danny Carey and like Mike Mangini and these guys is no one knows them. They do it, or no one knows them either by choice. Like for me, like I always get a lot of, bro, you're so good. How come you're not out there? Because I'm married with 4 kids and I don't want to, I've had chances, multiple chances. I'd rather forego the fame and the fortune and the being on the road to be in my kid's life. You know, my dad was never in my life, and I'm not going to put my kids through the same thing. So, you know, a lot of times it's a choice. There are people out there, and one of the smartest guys I know, this dude named Tony Tedesco. He smoked more weed than a little bit, but the dude was like a genius. I used to idolize, he taught me how to play jazz. I used to idolize all these jazz drummers And he was like, bro, the only difference between you and them is they put in their time and somebody discovered them. Like they eat, sleep, crap, cry, and feel pain just like you. All right. And that's what kind of like, it put things into perspective. So, you know. My favorite riffs, I don't have a favorite riff. I got favorite rudiments, you know, singles, doubles, and paradiddles. Also, another thing, like with the whole singles, doubles, and paradiddles, you know, where you want them to sound the same, this is another thing that kind of mixes people up. Instead of going, you know, because people hear this, but they see you switching your hands. You know, so there's that. Another good exercise to get your hands just kind of used to switching really fast is you know, so, and that's just, you know, that's a cool riff to kind of get, you know, I don't even remember Enter Sandman. All right, guys, I gotta get out of here because I gotta find this missing Amazon package. I'll be back though.